focusing on the right platform for one, and keeping it as singular as you can, so you only have one focus, means you're going to master it a lot faster. And then once you understand one, there are a lot of sort of bits of knowledge that you transfer to all the others. But there's a key distinction that I'm focusing on right now, and that's the differentiation between long and short and the lifespan of content.
Hi, you're listening to the Bookkeepers Podcast, sponsored by Xero. I'm Jo Wood.
And I'm Zoe Whitman. Join us and our incredible guests for insider knowledge from successful bookkeepers, business experts, and thought leaders.
We are on a mission to build a more confident bookkeeping community. Our bookkeepers are happier, have more freedom, and earn more. Join us every week and we will show you how.
Hi, and welcome to the Bookkeepers Podcast. I'm Zoe Whitman. No Jo Wood today, but I am joined by Chris James. Hi, Chris. How are you?
Bonjour. Yeah, I am good. How are you doing?
Good. Really good. It's really nice to have a chat with you. We decided
round three.
Huh?
I think this is round 3 for me on the podcast.
Well, you just become one of those really helpful people, and we invite you back all the time. You know that's what happens.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Well, the reason I wanted to talk to you is because well, do you know what? I've actually just got off of a call with some of our community who are starting their practices, and we were talking about visibility and mindset and fear of being seen, almost like by people that you know from the past or people you've worked with before. And I think it keeps people really, really stuck, stops people finding clients. So I thought it'd be nice to talk to you today about visibility, imposter syndrome, standing out. And I know that these are things that you've had to think about as well in what you do. But do you want to start by just telling me a bit about your background and what you do now?
Yeah, sure. So at the moment, it looks as if to the outside eye, and maybe when people look at you, people look at me, they'd be like, oh God, how do they do that and not care about showing up on video or talking openly about their thoughts on things that other people might shy away from, which I know you and I, do quite regularly. And yeah, you've got to really go back to understand that this whole thing is a journey, and you'll see people that you look at online who you might admire, or you might just think, oh, they're good, or they're doing something that I want to do, which is be visible. And there is a whole journey that most people have to go through in order to get there. So it looks all rosy, on the, I'm putting out video content with the flying graphics and shouting into the camera and stuff like that. But it wasn't always like that. I remember my first ever not LinkedIn Live, Instagram Live, where I'd invited this American guest had invited me. They'd sent me the questions, and me being me, I prepped my answers word for word, typed out on a Google Doc to do an Instagram Live with my phone on one of those little tripod things, and a ring light maybe or something. And it was scripted word for word. Like, that's how seriously I took it and how big of a deal I thought it was, and everything hung on this one Instagram Live with like 10 people watching or something. And now we'll just hop on, we've said hello for a minute, hopped on, and we're talking, and none of this is scripted. Like, couldn't be further from the truth. So what I do now is I kind of help people with this kind of stuff. Usually they're a little bit further along, but I run a 6-month consulting program called Content to Clients, where we help use organic content primarily on Instagram and LinkedIn to help people win clients, which means your hand is forced in the best possible way to go and show up. And the best way that you can show up is being yourself. And a lot of people, not a lot, I'd say 50-50 are kind of stuck on that, particularly the video part and just showing up and turning the camera on. So yeah, my background is very much not doing any of this, but being kind of involved behind the scenes in terms of sales and learning about marketing. And I've done B2B sales. Then I headed up a small sales team inside a content marketing agency, but I still wouldn't go and post on LinkedIn. I'd still very afraid of being myself. And I guess we'll get into that, but that's kind of my background. And I just wanted to paint the picture that, even though it might come across, if you see one of my videos, that I'm mega confident and really extroverted, I am in the right situations, but only because I wasn't back when it started.
What do you think? What's the one thing that has made you confident now?
It's going to be the worst answer ever, but it's the reps.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I know, and I think that's the problem, isn't it? Is that maybe we're not prepared to put that time in, because we know that we're gonna, to be able to do that, we've got to put something out that we're not happy with, and that feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's the good thing is, though, I think if you kind of got this, something's, if you're even watching this, something's probably eating away at you a little bit, like, should probably be doing a bit more. I should probably like do my first video, or I should probably start posting, or whatever it is. If you're in that situation right now where you've not been doing it, but you actually think I probably should, the good news is you probably haven't got that much of a following, which means when you put out shit content, because it probably will be, and I'm a big fan of like being transparent and keeping it real. Your first pieces of content are not going to be very good, but when you actually put them out, no one's going to see them because your audience is absolutely tiny. So you can afford to go and fail in public and get those first few reps out the way very, very quickly and very easily without too much being at stake. But then I think your mind is going to go, okay, you're right. I haven't actually got a big following. So I can see that as a blessing. But how is it a blessing if it's made up of my ex colleagues and family members and friends and, you know, Donna, who I went to high school with or whatever? They're all like, they're going to say stuff. And the only thing I've got to say to that is, if they're going to make you feel any type of discomfort for being yourself, just block them. Just block them. The block button's your friend. And
I was wondering as well, do you think they actually even see you? Like we were talking about this today, you know, or my boss might be on LinkedIn, and if I start posting, then maybe, you know, he would see. But I'm like, will he be watching you? I think we get quite hung up on the idea that we're the center of the universe, and actually people aren't paying a lot of attention to us. They're more interested in themselves.
Yeah, I'm prepping for a workshop that I'm doing on Friday. It's all about offer building and like putting your message together. And there's this analogy that I came up with where, you know, when you're putting a message together that you want to take out to your ideal clients, that's going to get them to buy or book a call or whatever it is, you want to say something different to everyone else. And I kind of likened it to an old radio where you got to tune to, like, would turn the dial to get on the right frequency to find the radio station you want to listen to. Most people, not just ideal clients who are trying to sell to, most people in general, let's pretend they're all listening to a radio and they've all got it tuned in on their favorite station, and their favorite station is all about them. That is the channel that they are tuned into 24/7 from the minute they wake up to the minute they sleep. They are tuned in on this one station, and it's all about their life and what's good and what's bad and what could be improved and what do they want, how much money they want to earn, where are they going to spend the time, why has their partner annoyed them this morning, who had a big argument, or, you know, the kids have gone off or something like that. They're all like tuned in on this radio station. And if you're not tuned in to if you can't like broadcast to that station, they're probably not bothered about like what's going on Key 103, or I don't listen to radio, Classical FM, if they're listening to One Extra, and, you know, they won't even see it half the time. But if they do, and there is a chance that they will, because you're putting stuff into the ether, just block them. Seriously, it was the best thing I ever did. Was when we first started speaking, you and I, Zoe, I was on the edge of like, shouldn't I quit my job? And that was also a very similar time to when I was all in on Instagram and hadn't done anything for my own personal brand on LinkedIn. And I thought, I'm going to go and try it over there because I know LinkedIn a lot better than I do Instagram, but only through work. And I was like, shit, well, not only am I really scared of being judged from people that know me, I could also lose my job if I get found out to be posting content and trying to sell to people. And I was putting quite a lot of effort in behind the scenes alongside having a full-time job. So I went through every single person in the company's employee list on LinkedIn, and I blocked them. Every single person. Some of these were my best mates. One is still my best mate, and he's still blocked. Every single one of them is still blocked. 3 years, 2.5 years in to me quitting my job, I've not even bothered unblocking them. Whether that's still a fear of judgment, I don't know. Most of them have seen me on like TikTok or YouTube or something, and they'll message me. I even went so far as to block clients as well, of the agency that I knew, and that just meant I had this fresh slate where I could be who I wanted to be. And I probably, talking openly, that wasn't myself to begin with. I was living through a bit of a persona. Now I can go on and I'm like unfiltered, but that's because I got the reps in a, like, I guess, a clean environment where I felt I was almost free from judgment. So hopefully that, even if it's just one person hears that and go, you know what? There are certain people I could block that would make this a bit easier. You don't have to block them forever. Because once you put like 5-10 videos out or 5-10 pieces of content, you'll be like, I can't believe I ever worried about this. Like within 2 weeks, you could change your life in 2 weeks, because it is absolutely liberating. I don't know about how you feel about this, Zoe, but since I created content, my confidence in 90% of like life scenarios that involve interacting with other people or speaking up has skyrocketed.
Yeah, I think it's like you learn, I think you filter yourself a lot in life when you're thinking you're kind of on show or performing or being judged, or, it's a professional environment. How would these people think? Whereas you kind of learn because you just very slowly start giving bits of yourself away through content. And then you're like, oh, that's okay. Oh, people really like that. Great. I can do a bit more of that, or I can talk a bit more about this, or actually I don't want to do that. So yeah, and I think you're right. It does impact the conversations that you have or what you feel you're capable of. I think it does also affect like how people view you, because they worry about visibility. Like people must say to you, like, how on earth do you go out and do that? And you're like, well, I'm not doing anything particularly special. Sorry, you're doing something very special, Chris. But like I'm always thinking like, I'm not doing anything particularly special. I'm just trying to remember to be here. It's simple, but it's repetition.
Yeah. Yeah. And I always remember thinking, and I've written a post about this, I had this massive fear of judgment from I didn't know who. And then I actually narrowed it down to like, who am I so afraid is going to do or say something? And I was like, I'm going to be I'm quite process driven. Being the process driven person I am, I'm like, it's not everyone. It all hinges on, I don't know, like 5-10 people. And I'm worried about what they might say either to my face or in private conversations when I'm not there. And then I narrowed it down to 2. It was 2 people that were like stopping me doing what I really wanted to do. I really wanted to do this, and I needed to scratch a creative itch, and there was potential money at the end of it as well. So I was like, I wrote those 2 names down. One of them was a very good friend, and the other one was still a mate. So these people weren't even enemies, and these people were people that probably should have my back and encourage what I was going to do. But I was scared about them going, well, who the hell does he think he is? Why is he trying to be the next Stephen Bartlett? Because he's coming across with his personal brand and pushing opinions and stuff like that. And yeah, it took me first and foremost, I went in again in stages. I was creating content that was just designed, and I didn't even have my name or my face on it. I then went to creating content that had my name on it. Then I would put I associated the account with myself a bit. Then I did my first little bit of video, and that was a bit of I had to go through the acting route where I was playing 2 different roles. I was playing a salesperson who was inexperienced, like an experienced salesperson, and kind of made it funny. And then I got into actually like face to cam. So just work out what the next block is that you have to knock down. It might just be you write some text, and then just do that for a couple of weeks, and then you can go, actually, I'm going to put a bit of some opinion in, or something more about me, or I'm going to talk about my relationship at work that was toxic 5 years ago, or something like that, and just inject a little bit more lifestyle. Then maybe just chuck a picture of yourself on like post 10 or something, and then you might actually go, okay, I'm going to try some video, and you can script the hell out of the video, and if you don't like it, don't post it. That would be my initial compressed timeline.
Nice. Everyone's scribbling this down right now. You've mentioned, well, we've mentioned LinkedIn, and you've mentioned video a few times. Can I ask you about 2025 social media platforms? Where is your attention right now, and why?
On a personal level?
Well, for business, yeah. If you,
Sorry, no, I
suppose,
meant like me rather than in
yeah,
general people.
what are you creating content for? Like, what do you think has potential right now? Because I think lots of the time people think, oh God, I'm so late. I should have started doing this years ago. And of course we can't, because we are today where we are. But if you were starting out today, what have you learned about what people are looking for right now, and what would you be trying to focus on?
I would
As
work out where the
bookkeepers and
audience are.
business owners ourselves, we love Xero, cloud-based accounting software right at your fingertips. Xero's simple, intuitive interface makes managing finances a breeze. No more number crunching or late nights. With Xero, you can focus on what you love, while it takes care of the rest.
Ready to simplify your financial life? Visit Xero.com and start your free trial today.
I would work out where the audience are, first and foremost, because it's very, I say this in my book. If your clients are in Egypt, don't piss around in France. So if your clients aren't on like TikTok, they're not. If they're not on TikTok, don't even bother with TikTok. And I will try and nail the one channel first where they are. I imagine primarily for your audience, they're going to be on LinkedIn or Instagram probably. So I'd be looking at that first and foremost and learning that and nothing else, because it's very easy to just split your energy in 10 different directions. And therefore you take 100% of your energy and you divide it by 10, and you only make 10% progress in each of those 10 directions. So you're going on all of these different platforms when actually TikTok, I don't know, Bebo and MySpace just aren't relevant. There's just no point. So focusing on the right platform for one, and keeping it as singular as you can, so you only have one focus, means you're going to master it a lot faster. And then once you understand one, there are a lot of sort of bits of knowledge that you transfer to all the others. But there's a key distinction that I'm focusing on right now, and that's the differentiation between long and short and the lifespan of content. So I'm trying to go all in at the moment on YouTube, which is a massive long-term play. Now, obviously, YouTube is primarily long video, like 10, 15 minutes on average, probably. And I've already put 2 years into that, and it's not paid off yet. I've decided in December that we're going again. We'll change a couple of things, but we're going again. And there's a reason I'm doing that. I got told right at the start of the YouTube journey, be prepared to not get one lead, one inquiry, one call booked, or one client for 2 years, 3 years minimum. But I know that will come, and that's part of playing the long game. The reason I want to do YouTube is because people can find your content on there 10 years after you've made it. Whereas on LinkedIn, it's got like a 48-hour shelf life. So I'm using something that's long form, and that could be video, it could be written, to then feed a shorter form platform. And I think that's probably what most personal brands should do. However, not everyone has got the equipment, the confidence, the skills, the expertise, whatever, set up to go onto YouTube straight away. So therefore, I'd recommend for most people, if they're just starting out, to do the exact opposite of that, and to find the quick wins platform where they can build confidence. Now, with LinkedIn, very different to YouTube. You can have a post written in 5 minutes. You can upload a picture and it's done. And that's like minimum entry level requirements ticked. So you can do that. You also have the functionality to build your following fast, because you can go and outbound, go out and connect with people who are in your target market. And about half of them will probably accept your connection request. If you did 20 a day, which is recommended level, you will get 50 new followers a week. Now, I don't know numbers as well as you do, Zoe, but in a year, that's a lot of followers. Yeah, 50 times 50.
Do you know what? That's one of my favorite things about LinkedIn. It's the only place you can do that. You can grow your own following.
Yeah, you choose. You can literally choose. It's crazy. Because when someone accepts your connection request, they automatically follow you, obviously. So you're doing that, and as long as you're half clear on who your target market are, like, you're going to get very fast results. It's not like you put a video on YouTube like I'm doing, and I'm hoping that people find it and then click subscribe or download something or whatever. I'm curating that audience on ideal clients every day, every week. It's just growing. And they're not the only people that follow you. You then get the inbound connection requests that people send to you. So I'd focus on that, and the fact that you can then just, as soon as you've connected with them, you can, again, completely different to YouTube. You can't DM anyone on YouTube. All you can do is leave comments. You can have a direct conversation with people that you're choosing to have a conversation with in a matter of days after you've sent a connection request. Now, again, sounds daunting, but again, the first place just to start is just to say hello. And I'm not making this up. Every message I send, there's no secret script. There's nothing like that. Every first message I send, if someone connects with me, I just say, hey, great to connect. How's it going?
Nice.
That's
Nice.
it.
We can do that. We can all do that.
Can do that. And bonus points if you do it on a voice note, because there's much more chance that someone is going to listen to it and actually respond than just a normal text. But you know what it's like. If someone sends you a voice note, you're like, oh my God, what have they said? I've got to click on it right now. I need to know. And hey, great to connect, John. How's everything going? Business good?
Yeah, little breakdown over. You're like, thank God, I better reply now, so I feel so much better.
Yeah, it's that simple. So that's kind of my.
You were just saying about how you would be making long form content for a short form platform, unless I misheard you. Were you saying that you are making, like, when you're using your YouTube videos, are you repurposing them for, like, I'm just thinking about LinkedIn. I keep seeing LinkedIn's got this thing at the moment where you can see like little video clips at the top. It looks a little bit like looking at Reels or TikTok or something. All of the ones I see seem to be about leadership or management tips and stuff like that. And I just wondered, are you using it for that, or would you be making other videos? Like, should people do this? You know, what is LinkedIn doing?
I think LinkedIn's playing catch up with YouTube Shorts, TikTok, but TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. So they've obviously gone like, oh, we're missing out on a huge share of the video creator or the creator market. Therefore, we're missing out on a load of attention of the average follower who doesn't make video. So therefore, we need a vertical video feed that people can swipe, just like TikTok and just like YouTube Shorts and stuff. I've not seen massive successes from it as a standalone thing. I'm not saying no one should do video, but as of yet, my personal experience is I've not seen any videos blow up or bring in masses of leads or anything like that. The way that I'm trying to do things is, if I spend, let's just call it 2 hours writing a video script for YouTube, that can give me 2 weeks maybe worth of content on that one topic if it's long enough. I could probably write it faster than 2 hours, but I've got a load of text posts straight away. I've got the long form piece, which could be 10, 15 minutes long, which I can post. And then I could use some of the parts as video scripts or chop up that video into segments like I know you do with the podcast. Mm-hmm. So it's about being very intentional if you are starting out. Personally, I think if you're not posting at all yet, don't bother with video, because it's just another sort of hurdle for you to step across or question yourself on or find blockers around doing, when actually you can execute very quickly just by writing some words on LinkedIn. So there are two ways you can look at it. You can either go through the long form video format and then chop it down into smaller pieces, or there are creators out there like Alex Hormozy who will just brain dump ideas onto Twitter live. Like I have my own WhatsApp group where I capture my own ideas and I just type ideas in there. He does it live, and then because he's got such a big audience, they'll basically vote with likes and comments and replies, and he'll go, oh, this is a juicy topic. Let's make that into a long form video. So he does it the opposite way to myself, but he's got that massive audience. So he can get immediate quick feedback on the short form and then go long form. So I recommend kind of doing what Hormozy does rather than what I do. And that's just get some posts out there and see what traction you get, and try and give yourself constraints like, I have to write something and publish it in 15 minutes.
Nice. Yeah. The thing you said to me that like it's really stuck is like, just find a photo and write something to go with it. Like nothing more complicated. That's all I do now. Like that's all I have to do. And it's so much easier, because I used to really overthink it and think, oh, I need it to have like a nice image to go. I don't need any of that. I just need a photo. I've got loads of those.
Yeah, and some of yours are just natural, like raw quality. They're not pro shots or anything like that, are they? You'll take a selfie when you're, on a walk or something like that.
Oh yeah, and no makeup, like hair a mess, like it doesn't matter, because I suppose this is like a personal brand thing, isn't it? It's like, how do people expect you to show up? I'm a mum with little kids, and sometimes that's how I show up. So it's just like trying to be my real self. Rather than like the filtered version of ourselves that we were talking about earlier, which is the reason most people don't get out of their own way, because they haven't got time to do their hair every day, women particularly. So we don't do anything. So it's like, it's learning, actually, this is okay, and this is like on brand for me.
Yeah, I love that on brand thing. I've never actually thought about it like that. I think as well, it makes you relatable to other mums if you are happy to, a red-faced, sweaty gym selfie.
Yeah.
For mums that like might be looking to work with you, immediately would make them go, oh, okay, she's just like me, rather than this polished. I know you've had professional photos done. I have as well, but I actually prefer just day-to-day me pictures. And it's easy for me to get away because I've not really got much hair to do or anything, or makeup. But just as real as can be in your natural habitat is I think the best way to go.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? That's something that like Joe and I have really struggled with, actually, and I don't mind saying here. The like sometimes for like we go on a lot of trips. We were skiing last week, and one of the things that we find hard, just thinking about personal brand, what is on brand for me in terms of a photo, sometimes we do things where we're like, actually, I can't write about this, or I can't share a photo of this. Like I'm when I say things, I'm talking about like going on a ski trip, for example, which might be aspirational. If you're just starting your bookkeeping business right now and you're like, God, I haven't even like got the money to pay for the software that I want to have. Like, I'm definitely not thinking about how am I going to pay for my like family holiday or whatever. We're really aware that sometimes there are things that we might do because, I mean, we're there for business or whatever, but people don't always know that whole story. So just an image can really alienate you from your audience. Like we know people in the sort of coaching space who are all like fancy handbag and, luxury, everything. And that isn't actually how I live my life. If there's that kind of opportunity, I'm there, but that isn't my day to day. And I think that you have to kind of be able to see or have this kind of these brand guidelines for yourself, because you will find that, or we certainly have found that once we start going, oh, look at us doing this amazing, like once in a lifetime experience, we can completely alienate ourselves from our community.
Yeah, you remove yourself too far from that's the whole thing about audience, right? And our audiences are quite similar. You need to meet them where they're at a lot of the time. And for people just appreciate real shit these days. There's more and more filters and AI and all this stuff being pumped into every single platform. It's very hard to distinguish or just sift through the crap. And the one thing that AI is never going to be able to replicate is the real, like, you. And again, that's why video is so powerful, because there's so much written nonsense online. But if you can show up even just with a picture and talk authentically, hate the word because everyone says it, but you can just be yourself. Again, more cliche advice, but that's what people are really going to resonate with. And I didn't sign up with my bookkeeper because of her bookkeeping skills. I don't know.
Although they're very good, you should say this right now. Her bookkeeping skills are very good, impeccable, in fact.
I've had more tax refunds than ever before. And I actually have. So, that's good. And the business runs very smoothly. Well, the financial function does anyway. But the point being, I bought into her, not for the skills, but for the person she was. And we got on well, and she was relatable, and we had a laugh. And especially if you're trying to use content to win clients, you need to think of it from two sides of the coin, right? Yeah, we've got the logical side of the brain, which is like, okay, it makes sense. I need someone to help me with the finance. But there's also the emotional side of the brain, which is like, I also have to like this person and what they stand for, and the fact that they're not showing up with the Gucci crocodile flip flops or whatever on a private jet, and I can see that they've got kids just like I have, or they like the same music that I do, or they really hate the fact that kids use mobile phones, or they vote Tory, hopefully not, or whatever. So yeah, you kind of make these associations with people, and therefore, as long as the logical box is ticked, I need someone that is good at bookkeeping, and therefore, so long as I like them and I align with them, and the morals, the values, the ethics line up, it's a perfect fit. Let's have a conversation, or let's just sign an agreement.
Yeah, I love that, because it's not just about standing. I think all the time in this space, people are thinking, I need to take another exam so I can be better and do this and this. But actually, as a client, you're not looking for that. For you, unfortunately, bookkeepers are bookkeepers, probably. It's like you may not know the differentiation between one bookkeeper and another bookkeeper. So the thing that's going to make that person stand out is their personality and whether you can get on with them. Does that sound right, or am I missing the point?
No, massive. Like that's the be all and end all. I think, particularly for small, like if you're selling to smaller business owners. I didn't before I had a bookkeeper. I just thought bookkeepers and accountants were the same thing. So take my ignorance and apply it to your target audience as well, because that may be the level that they're at. They're just like, I just need a finance person, because that's what I was like. I need someone I don't know it, so I need to get it done. And if you remain not injecting personality into your work and into your content, you are not distinguishing yourself from anyone else, because there's so many people that offer the same service that you do as a bookkeeper, that I do as, whatever I am, business mentor, whatever, I don't know. But there are so many people that do the same thing, that there's only one real way to differentiate, aside from trying to be the lowest on cost, which is, foolish in many regards, especially if you work in your industry. You will know that low pricing is not a good thing. Therefore, the only other real way to stand out when you're online is to show your face and your personality and your opinions and your journey and your failures and your successes. And honestly, it's a superpower. It's a cheat code as well. Once you do it for a year, you'll start getting inbound attention where you don't have to go and chase people. People actually come to you because they just vibe with you and you don't even know they exist. And they'll show up and say, I've been reading your content for years. Or I've just binge watched all your YouTube videos to me the other day. And then they booked a call and they said, I've binge watched all your YouTube videos. I'm like, perfect. If you've spent that much time with me, listening to my thoughts and my opinions and the structures and processes and all the client wins that I always harp on about, you're going to be ready to buy.
Yeah. Amazing. Oh, look, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed this. I'm sure we could talk about this for hours, but you mentioned earlier that you've got a masterclass on Friday. How can people register for that kind of thing? They might be listening to this in the future. How is best for them to connect with you and make sure that they find out about things like that, that they enjoy?
Thank you. Yeah, that's LinkedIn, and it's the best way to follow me because that's where I'm most active. Most value I drop is probably on YouTube, but I put those videos on LinkedIn anyway. So LinkedIn's the best place to find me. On Friday, we are running an extremely low cost workshop, which is all around offer and positioning and putting together your message so you can stand out from other people. That's a 90-minute thing, and it's happening. I don't know when it's happening. 10 a.m. I think, something like that. No, 9:30 a.m. on Friday. It's 90 minutes, and it's less than 100 quid, and you get access to the full replay, loads of tools, and I'm going in depth on the frameworks that we've used to help over 200 people engineer their offers and their message so they can stand out.
Amazing. Okay, so they can find all of this on your LinkedIn?
That's on my LinkedIn featured section. If you just head to my LinkedIn profile, scroll down, there's a picture of me in front of a graph with an arrow, and it's called the Offer and Messaging Workshop. You also get the first chapter of my book included in that, which is 30 pages in a PDF, all about building an offer. And it's not just a theory thing. We're actually going to build your offer on the call.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Lovely. I'll be there.
It's crazy.
So good.
Amazing. Oh, look, thank you so much, Chris, for joining me. And thanks everyone who's tuned in and listened to this episode. And we'll see you next time for another episode of the Bookkeepers Podcast. Take care. Bye.
You've been listening to the Bookkeepers Podcast, sponsored by Xero.
Check out our YouTube channel, join our community, the Six Figure Bookkeepers Club on Facebook. And if you love what we do, please rate and review this podcast. See you next time. Bye.